Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, so today is day one of the self-love 7-day challenge. And so, first of all, just a few little things to get out of the way. So, this is a 7-day challenge. No one has to do anything, okay? This is all self managed. The challenge is more for me because I'm going to be doing daily lives and reflections every day. You will be given the option, however, to partake in those reflections for yourself. And like anything, you get what you put in. So if you do sort of take time out of your day to actually work through the reflection or exercise or whatever it may be, then you potentially might get more out of it out of someone that doesn't. Okay, all good. And I know everyone's busy, everyone's got a chocolate at a time. I know I've signed up to a million different challenges over the period, and quite frankly, there's a lot of them that I didn't do a lot with. So no judgment here. The other thing is too, just by watching these, quite often we learn a lot just by osmosis. So if you just take a little bit of time out, I'm going to keep these fairly short and sweet as much as possible. So yeah, enjoy seeing me being challenged in the area of self-love. It's interesting that I picked self-love. To be honest, there's a whole range of other areas that I will be focusing on in these challenges to do with joy, of course, that are probably a little less full-on or challenging or got so many components and elements to. However, for some reason, this one just stuck and it needed to come out. So here we are doing self-love of all things. Now, on that note, I'm no bloody expert. I haven't got self-love mastery. There is definitely a massive improvement in my self-love through some of the things that we will be going through. Okay, so that's where I'm coming from. You could well have your self-love totally sorted and mastered. And if you do, awesome. Give me some tips. Love some advice. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of the rundown of the officials. Okay, so partake as much as you want and take what you want, discard the rest. Okay, we've all our own experts, right? So don't let me tell you what to do. Hell. So love, self-love. Why this one's so important and really sticking is, from my perspective, the idea that love, or more so self-love, is lacking in the world causes for me that I can see it underlies a lot of issues. And when I really like sort of felt into love and self-love, I feel that things like jealousy, judgment, hatred, all the nasty stuff, the underpinning that there's this deep sense of that love is not abundant and that there's a lacking of it and that there isn't enough to go around, so that we sort of got to fight. We've got to be and do certain things to get more love in this world. So that's sort of where it stems from. So the actual challenge for today, very simple, nice and easy, 3 questions to ponder. Okay, now if you want, take some time out and write these down. I'm going to address mine, funnily enough, in this live. So the first question is, what does self mean to me? Okay, so I could look up the definition of self. I'm not going to. For me, self is just my sense of myself in this world. And I must admit that's probably, again, something that has changed over time for me. When I'm really little, there is no sense of self. It's like I'm connected with everything because I haven't yet got the constructs, the points of reference in my mind to actually discern or decide what isn't me. Okay, like I am a part of everything. And definitely from growing up really small to, starting to develop concepts and learning that, well, this is a chair, this is a desk, this is the computer, and this is me. So there's that separation that, but there was still a real sense of awe and wonder about who I was, where do I fit in the world. I've got this beautiful memory of hanging out with my cousin when we were little, late at night, meant to be asleep, talking about what's this whole idea of space, and it just goes on forever, and we're so little in this big universe, and it was really cool. And I don't know at what point that sort of questioning stopped, but it certainly did. And so then for a long time, my sense of self is just, well, me, this little person in this body, just doing the things that I had to do. So, get up, go to work, function, get bills paid, do the things that supposedly bring joy. Okay, and I guess ultimately what sort of happened over time is that there was like, why am I doing these things? They don't bring me joy. They're not how, I don't feel good about this. And so what's actually happened is that deep level of inquiry has now kicked in from when I was younger. And so my sense of self has definitely changed over the last few years. And some of that is just through my own level of questioning, but also my own personal experience of understanding, well, no, I'm not actually just what I see or even just what I feel. I might sometimes feel more connected in with other things outside of this Andrea in her bodysuit, her meat suit. So yeah, I've got quite a large sense of self these days, but that hasn't always been the case, and that has definitely assisted me in feeling differently about myself and the world that I live in. Yeah. A sense of self can often be tied for people to their religious views and perspectives. Okay, I won't go into that anymore, just something there. Okay, so next question. What is love to you? Now, this can be a particularly triggering one. Not everyone has a great feel about the word love. Okay, depending on our scenarios, love might bring up a whole bunch of shitty feelings and emotions and stories. Okay, and they might come from our adult years where we've been hurt in love through different relationship breakups, where we feel betrayed or destroyed through love. Also, depending on how we were brought up, it may be that love was used as a bit of a bargaining tool. So I'll get love from my primary caregivers if I act and behave in a certain way. However, if I don't, then that love from that child's perspective may have been taken away. And of course, if that was the case, then yeah, we're going to have a whole lot of stuff wrapped up in the word and the concept of love for ourselves. Okay, so be gentle if that is the case. When you start to reflect, all right, what is this thing, love? And that sort of starts to unravel, just be gentle. Yeah. Now, this one also has a few other levels. So we have one word, love, that we use for quite a large spectrum of things. So, hell, I love pizza. Yeah. I love sitting in the sun. Okay. However, I then use the same word to describe I love my nieces and nephews, and I would gladly go take a bullet for them. Yeah, I'm not going to take a bullet for pizza, right? Okay, but we're using the same word to describe a totally different experience. Okay, my love of my partner. Okay, the love of a good friend, the love of travel. Okay, totally different things, yet we're using the same word. There are some other languages that have a whole range of words to sort of assist in that spectrum. Okay, so just again, bearing that in mind when you're using that word. Okay, now it's time for me to answer that question. So, what is love to me? Okay, again, this has changed over time. Okay, so I'll go to the child, early teens, early 20s perspective on love. Yeah, I had this skewed perception. We'll talk about this later in the week a bit as well, is that, love was a pretty woman storyline, okay, minus the prostitution, right? But just, the idea that, this gorgeous man just, lays out a beautiful dress and whisks you off on a romantic dinner, okay? That's a very, very limiting perspective on what love is. And I'm very, very happy to say that my perspective on love has thoroughly deepened greatly since then. So for me, love is actually a feeling, okay? So it's something that is an internal sensation in my body. So I can sit quietly and reflect on love and actually feel warmth in my heart. Okay, so ultimately, that is what love is to me. Okay, and then there's a whole wide range of spectrums around. Then, okay, well, what is love in a relation, in an intimate relationship? Okay, for me, that's love and acceptance of self and that person. Okay, versus love of pizza, love of a friend, or my love of coffee, wine, and chocolate. Again, totally different relationship. Okay, so they're my answering of questions of what does self mean to me and what does love mean to me. Okay, and then finally the last one, bringing that all together. Okay, and so what does self-love mean to me? And admittedly, it does conjure up the standard images in my mind of, bubble baths, meditating, going for walks, all the more like nourishing, just, being a nice human to myself. So self-love. So for me, as I said, the idea of love being that internal sensation is being able to actually conjure that up when thinking about thoughts of myself, and also being really loving and accepting of myself, as opposed to some time ago when I was probably my own worst enemy, truth be told. Always going, I should have done this, I should have done that. I need to be better, I need to get more done, I need to achieve more, and having to hold back that self-love until there was a certain version of myself that was worthy of that. Okay, that's all gone. It's all gone. Loving myself now. As I said, not mastery, haven't got it down pat, still go through moments, yeah. However, it's something that I genuinely take time out and actually give myself space to actually have, particularly when if I feel myself slipping into the self beat up, as I like to call it. Yeah. So anyway, that was me reflecting on those. You can feel free to share what those are for you if you're game. As I said, you can sit down and reflect on these things and If you don't want to, that's okay. If you've gotten through, this is now 15 minutes, you've done a lot of learning by osmosis, so pat yourself on the back and thank you for hanging out for me. I will do my best not to keep these as lengthy moving forward. So anyway, welcome to day 1. Self-love challenge. Thank you for hanging out, and have a great Monday, everyone. And please share. I would love to hear your responses to these self-inquiries. And good morning, Leah. Big love to you, honey. All right, I gotta go. So au revoir. Bye. Enjoy the challenge. Can't wait to hear your reflections.